Hey guys, I'm Robert with Zenfolio, and hanging out with me today is the amazing and talented Allison with Wonderland Pictures.
And today we are going to be talking about contracts and why they should be an important part of your photography business.
So Allison, before we jump into talking about contracts, why don't you take a little bit of time and tell the people back home just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I studied photojournalism at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, and it was there that I developed a love for storytelling. And the greatest story is a love story. So after I graduated, I pursued wedding photography, and I've been shooting for 7 years.
As a wedding photographer, can you tell me a little bit about the first time when you realized how important contracts were?
Yes, so early on in my career, just starting off, I did not know much about the business, and I was just really eager to photograph weddings. So I got a good lead, and I thought it was gonna be great, and I did not know that I really needed a contract. And so I agreed to shoot a wedding, and the person who hired me was the father of a groom. So, he gave me a deposit. There was no written contract or just a verbal agreement. I show up on the wedding day, and the first thing that the bride tells me is, do not listen to my future father-in-law. It started off the evening just really, really difficult for me. And so the father of the groom, he was a photographer, so he took over a large portion of my formal portraits, and I was actually carrying light stands as the lead photographer for him. So I just rolled with it. And I was also really, really young. This is the first year I ever photographed weddings. It was probably the second or third wedding that I ever photographed. So it was incredibly difficult to deal with that situation. The end of the night with collecting payment was even more difficult. And I asked 3 or 4 times to get paid, and I finally did get paid. But after that night, I went home, I did some research on contracts, and I wrote my contract and vowed to never ever have a verbal agreement with anybody when I am working.
So you were hired by the father of the groom.
Right.
And it sounds like you almost ended up being more of, not even really a second shooter, but more like an assistant.
Exactly.
Something
yeah.
that, had there been a contract in place from the beginning, would have really rectified the situation. So Allison, can you tell me a little bit about what kind of things as photographers we should make sure that we include in our contracts?
So the first thing that I really like to include is services. So this really protects the client, and then it gives you something to refer back to, because every wedding is different. The first thing that I put is the amount of hours that I'm shooting, so that the client knows exactly how long I'm going to be there. My basic contract is 6 hours, and that can go up to 8 or 10, just depending on the wedding. And the second thing that I put is how many images are going to be delivered to them. So you really want to set an expectation. I always set low and aim high. I write in my contract, I give between 150 to 350 images that are fully edited, but I typically deliver 500 to 600. And so it is really, really good to over deliver so that your client is really, really happy. And it's also really just protects you, because you don't know what is going to happen on the wedding day. There could be weather issues and rain, and so that could prohibit you from shooting outside. Or there could be clients who just really don't want a lot of formal portraits, and so that kind of cuts out a lot of your images that you do deliver. And then any other additional services that you include. So I always give my bride and groom a 25% coupon, and that way they can get their digital images and then they can purchase from my site. And if you want to include a bridal portrait or engagement portraits or something like that, or additional hours, anything that is going to happen on that wedding day, and in regards to delivery, that is included in the services portion of your contract.
Now, what do you include when you're talking about like reservation deposits and things like that?
So I do require a 25% reservation deposit, and that just clears my schedule for the day. That deposit is used toward the total wedding cost, and it is non-refundable, but it's a credit. So it's going to be deducted from the total wedding cost on the wedding day. And this is also really, really good because I did have a client, their wedding was canceled and they did lose their deposit, but I mean, that was upfront on the contract. They knew that with signing with me that that is something that would be put toward their wedding photography services, but that there is a risk that they would lose it, because when they sign for me, I book my entire day.
Right.
And you know, that is a wedding that I would not be able to shoot.
In your contract, do you kind of include anything as far as like what you're actually allowed to do with the photos after you've taken like a model release or anything like that?
Right, yes, I do. And the important thing to note is that as the photographer, you hold the copyright to your photos from now until eternity. So what you want to put in your contract what you were allowed to do with those photos, because a lot of clients think that the photos of themselves are theirs. So I always include a model release, and that just says that I am allowed to put these on the web, or they could be used for reproduction, like in magazines. And I am very, very understanding and lenient. So if you have a brand new baby and you don't want their photos all over the web, that is something that we can talk about. And if you want it to have a password protected gallery, a really, really secure gallery, and you don't want me using those for a portfolio, I am okay with doing that, because as a mother myself, you know, that kind of situation, you might not want those things displayed on the web. The model release just protects you as a photographer, and then gives a clear expectation to the client that their images may be used for marketing purposes on the web or in print. And it just really sets a clear expectation for you and the client.
Right, I think there's nothing more important than making that upfront with your client, because the worst thing ever to happen is for you to go and photograph a wedding, and then, you know, a couple months down the road, your client visits your website and there are their photos up on the main page. And so you want them to not be surprised by that. You want them to understand that, you know, you're going to use these photos possibly for marketing and things like that. What are your thoughts on kind of a harassment policy and being included in your contract?
There was a time when I was photographing for a company in college, and I did there was some harassment, and I was protected under the company that I was working for, and I was able to tell them, you need to stop or I'm leaving, and my supervisor that I was working for, said it's okay, and that is written into the contract. But it is very, very important. If anyone is disrespectful, you want to make sure that your client knows that you are to be respected, and if there are any members of the party that are disrespectful, that something has to be taken care of. Whether that be, it's first a verbal warning, and you just say, hey, I am very uncomfortable with the way that you are acting. Would you please discontinue this behavior? And then if it does get bad, you can request that that person be removed from the party and from the wedding, because you have to be respected in your career, because it's unacceptable to feel uncomfortable when you are doing your job.
Yeah, I think that's awesome to include, because what you want to make sure is that in the event that you are made to feel uncomfortable, you've got specific steps that you can follow that will keep you from being held liable if you're not able to cover the wedding due to an unfortunate event of somebody exhibiting unwanted behavior and things like that. So I think it's definitely important to cover yourself in that matter.
Absolutely.
All right, so one of the things I do want to make sure that we hit on is the all-important limit of liability. As photographers, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen. We have all kinds of gear, where you're setting up lights, somebody could trip on a light stand, and we want to make sure that we are protected and not held liable for any kinds of things like that. So can you tell me a little bit about what you include in your contract in the limit of liability section?
Yeah, so I do have a limit of liability section, and really it includes any sort of disaster that might happen. You could get into a car accident on the way, or any sort of natural disasters could happen. And I've got a really good story about that. I did shoot a wedding during Hurricane Matthew, and for any of you East Coast people who are familiar with Hurricane Matthew, it devastated our area. And I was going strong, and I did shoot the entire wedding through the entire hurricane. We lost power. So I was fortunate in that we were safe, we were in a safe place, and that I was able to complete the wedding. But it's important to add to your contract that there is a limit of liability. So anything beyond your control, whether that be a broken leg, tornado, hurricane, that the liability that is on you is limited to the total cost of the wedding. So you want to make that clear, so that if something happens, that someone can't go after you afterwards. And if a wedding was canceled or rescheduled due to my illness, the one thing that I do make sure to say is that I will do my very, very best to secure a replacement photographer. And I do have a lot of colleagues that I work with that know that they might be on call in case an emergency happens. And so that is the first thing, to have a backup plan, to have somebody who could fill in for you. And if that is not possible, let's say that it is a natural disaster and no one can actually get to the wedding, that the liability that I have is that I would return all the payments, and that would be including the deposit and any payments that they have given me. So that just protects me, and it also protects them, so that they know that if something does happen, that I would return the fees that they have paid toward me.
And then as far as payments go, do you include like the payment schedule and that kind of thing in your contracts as well?
I do. I again reiterate that the deposit is paid toward the total cost of the wedding, and I collect the entire wedding cost right before the wedding begins. So if I'm supposed to start at a certain time, I am to be paid before. And that gives the client a clear expectation of what they are paying and when they are paying it. And it takes a lot of the stress out as a photographer, because you're going to spend money before you even go to your wedding. You're going to, some people have to rent gear or the gas that it takes to get there. So you want to make sure that you are protected and that you receive your payment up front.
So Allison, I do want to say thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been an awesome day today. You've really given us some great information. Where can people find you if they want to learn more about you and see kind of your work and things like that?
Yeah, so you guys can find me at www.wonderland-pictures.com.